Good hello. I'm swearing on the Bible, just like Kamala Harris, that this week will be a good palm reading. Thanks for watching another Sunday case study. If you haven't guessed, we're doing the Vice President, the leader of the Democrats after Biden. Kamala Harris is 59, I believe, and I want to see what kind of leader, what kind of person she is. A far-leaning Mercury finger shows that she loves her independence and won't be confined by any man. But who is she loyal to? That's what I want to get to the bottom of in this palm reading. First of all, I'd just like to apologize for my awful lighting situation and background. I'm sorry about that. Let's have a moment of silence. Now, this is probably the best image I have, and actually, there's quite a bit going on here. Straight away, I'm just going to unpack a few signs and what they mean in conjunction with each other. Now, the base of the wrist is kind of narrowing here. The thumb, which you can see in this terrible image here, is slightly flexible, shows an adaptability of willpower. The headline, if you look closely, it has a little flick rising up towards outer Mars. The Jupiter finger, in general, it has a good thickness, maybe too much, especially the basal phalanx. There's a need for power here and control. So what do these things mean combined? Well, quite simply, when we look at the base of the wrist here, where it thins, where it narrows, it shows the possibility for a fluctuation of a person's moral compass. Her core values can be compromised, as does the flexibility in the thumb. The flick on the headline, rising towards outer Mars, is the place of strategy, tactics, and it's the need to secure a financial future. The security of materialism is important to this person, along with the need for power and control. All of these things combined give us a picture of someone who shouldn't really be in politics because it's likely that they can and will be corrupted. Overall gap, the space between the head and the heart line, is not all that large, not large enough for my liking, and the heart line as well doesn't start low down enough for someone who calls themselves a liberal. The other concerning thing I find are the wrist lines or the rossettes here. They're not clearly formed. A broken rosette or wrist line is a potential sign of a deceiver, someone who is untruthful. Donald Trump also has this, ironically. You can check out my palm reading for Donald Trump. I did that a little while ago. Should just be here. Now, I've spoken about loyalty, and the loyalty line can be seen just here, and it seems to attach itself to the end of a Mars line. Mars is, of course, the god of war when we need to fight, when we need to repair our bones or go through a legal battle, or, of course, in politics of some kind. We need a strong Mars line to see us through, to assist us. Now, when loyalty is connected to this fight, it shows the potential here for a loyalty towards that fight. But what is that fight? And the fact that it's inside the lifeline, the loyalty line, it doesn't touch the lifeline, it doesn't cross the lifeline to the outside world. This isn't someone who's necessarily loyal to members of the public. If it flowed out into the central plane of Mars, then we'd see that loyalty into that social setting, into society. But we don't see that. It's hemmed in, it's very close. And actually, the overall size of Venus itself is quite sort of tightly closed. This is someone who has few friends. She's loyal to those closest to her, loyal to those who likely can elevate her. This loyalty line seems to sort of stop anyway at the age of, it seems to kind of point towards 49 or so. After this time, there is no more fight. It's almost as though whatever aim she was achieving, she had certainly succeeded at. What I do seem to see here is what looks like a pretty strong business line. I think this person has a keen instinct in business. It culminates on Mercury with this one strong line, which is, success. It's prosperity in business. As I say, this is someone who's looking towards making money. I think whenever I see this kind of sign in a politician's hands, it does make me worry a little bit because it lessens the possibility for a politician to work for the people, essentially do their role. They're elected by people, right? The lifeline and the headline are quite neatly joined until the age of 18 or so. This is a very independent person, but she's cautious and a planner. This is someone who's in it for the long game. Jupiter is not overly long, although, as I have said, it's got a strong thickness to it. This is a no-nonsense sort of person, probably quite blunt and brash. Now, Apollo does seem to be quite on the long side. I think reputation and glory do matter to this person. What other people think of her matters to her. Mercury does appear to be exceptionally long, and thankfully, it doesn't appear to be too crooked, and that extra length as well leavens that possibility for becoming crooked, thankfully. But what difference does it make if we are allied to the wrong people, or at least the establishment? And I think that being quite a high set thumb, being quite a high set heart line, being quite a narrow hand with these fluctuating core values, the strength of the personality here, the desire for finances. I think this is actually all summing up a picture of a person who has that potential for corruptibility. I don't particularly see a nice person or a person who has the best interests of the public at heart. I do see strong, keen business instincts, that planning, that person who is a very cautious, methodical planner, a keen diplomatic skills here, diplomacy skills. Here's the thing. The beginning of Kamala's fate line here, it actually begins in a bit of a fork. It's hard to see in this image here, but it does, and it forks coming from Luna and Venus, and it's kind of a rare formation of a fate line to begin, and it shows someone who perseveres, begins with quite a strong dedication to achieve in life. And there are great struggles, and there's a great love of what they want to do, what they want to achieve, and that keeps them thriving onwards. She is likely hampered by her own wild imagination and harebrained ideas, and this disrupts her own sense of uh, spirituality and inner peace as well. In this hand, I see, because of this tremendous difficulties, a struggle essentially, in order to achieve this person's aims. Now, when you see a fate line like this beginning out of this sort of fork here and rises flawlessly up to Saturn or wherever it chooses to go, then despite these struggles and the internal conflicts within, this person will achieve their aims. However, I don't quite see that for Mala. Instead, what we see here is a disruption on Apollo, and it kind of seems to disrupt the success line. What I see here is this need for finances combined with this disruption. Looks to me, it kind of forms a bit of a square here on the heart line from this age of 37, 38, right up to 56 or so. There is a real strong need to protect. These are the struggle years in this person's career. And then I see one thing which actually is potentially the most prominent sign of all coming in from Luna. There's another here from Pluto. Now, signs here, these these markings that are completely out of our control, that affect us cosmically, celestially, may well give us an insight into a more accuracy in terms of timing this event here, because although I have said 56, that's a bit of a ballpark because we know she's 59 now. The fate line does seem to rise on after this time, however, not as strong. Where the fate line where the success line is affected in conjunction with the fate line stopping appears to be more like 66 to 70. And when we look where this line is coming in, that is about the age here that it seems to be affecting the lifeline. This event here that's completely out of this person's control, and then there is another here that is beginning to form. My prediction is this: Kamala is in a karmic year at the moment. In 7 years' time, there will be another one. And all of her karmic eggs will hatch. Things at this time will go wrong for this person. That is my prediction. Between, I think 66 could be as late as 70. I don't think this person is necessarily bad. I just think she's allied to the establishment who are not good. And actually, this palm reading is very similar to the British Prime Minister, now Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. Have a watch of that just there. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know what your thoughts are on this palm reading. Thanks for watching and please subscribe.